Hello everyone, it's me, the People's Union of Wales, and today will be another Central Committee meeting. I'm here with Comrade King, Mimi Luss, and myself. So, who wants to start it off? Oh, by the way, before we start it, we'll be talking about Celtic independence and future economic policies. So, anyone want to start it off?
I will, I suppose. I believe it is 100% right for all the Celtic nations to be independent. Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, Brittany, the French one, and Ireland to be united. I think that's right, because the whole reason that those countries are not their own countries is because imperialism, and imperialism bad.
Yeah.
Are we on the same wavelength?
Oh, hold on. Comrade King has just left, so we'll just continue the conversation and give him the rundown when he comes back. So, yeah, I agree. I think it is the right of all Celtic nations to be independent. I'm more neutral on Cornish and the Isle of Man being independent because they've been more or less completely eradicated now. But I would love to see them come back. Their languages, their culture, and everything. I'd like to see them come back.
Same.
But when people call Wales too small to ever be a country.
Yeah, Luxembourg's a country.
Well, yeah, Luxembourg's a country. I think the Isle of Comrade King's back. I think the only place where that would matter is the Isle of Man, because if the Isle of Man would be if try and create itself as a self-sufficient nation, it wouldn't be able to. And I know it's not my place to start accusing countries of not being able to keep itself afloat economically speaking. Oh, what do you want to say, Comrade King?
So you believe that the Isle of Man is able to become independent? Do you think that it's likely?
I'm not sure, honestly. I'll just leave it up to the Manx to decide himself. It is Manx, isn't it? With people from the Isle of Man.
Yeah, Manx.
Yeah. Okay. If the Isle of Man were to become its own nation, though, I would personally support it. If any a party came up wanting Manx independence, I'd be all for it. The only thing I wish of them, though, is that they have a plan. Because you can't go into a new world and start something new if you don't have a plan at all. Because then the thing will just collapse around you. And I think Cornwall, though, has more of a shot of being independent, and so I think they should get independence if they want to. It shouldn't be forced upon them.
Yeah, I think that only Northern Ireland is able to become independent / join Ireland.
Yeah, I think that Ireland should reunite, because Northern Ireland wouldn't be able to sustain itself by itself. It needs to have.
What do you think will happen in Northern Ireland in regards to Brexit?
I'm not sure, honestly.
There have been people saying that Brexit. Sorry, Mimiolus, you can go ahead.
There probably will be a hard border between the.
Yeah. The border would probably, be a lot worse than it is already, but.
There's no border, you can just drive through.
Well, people have been saying that Brexit will make Northern Ireland join Ireland because, the EU is kind of the reason why there is no unrest right now in Northern Ireland. In the 80s, under Margaret Thatcher, the Northern Irish were fighting against the British.
Yeah.
The IRA, for example.
Yeah.
And the EU kind of stopped this because now you can just travel freely throughout Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Yeah. I don't personally though. I don't think the IRA will make a massive comeback because things like the provisional IRA and the official IRA, which were the big players in the Troubles, were they mostly worked in Southern Ireland as well. That's because they had that freedom of travel. But there probably will be if it ever comes to the IRA coming back, Ireland will still be in a spot of bother. In the most
Isn't it active right now? I thought it's still there, but not as big anymore.
Yeah, there still are some factions, but they don't do much anymore.
I read that there are still 200 people dying still 200 people dying yearly because of the IRA.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, you can read it on Wikipedia, I think. So around 200 people still die because of the IRA.
Anyhow, back to the topic we were speaking of. Scotland will definitely be a self-sufficient nation because they've got, tons of stuff. If you're going to count by landmass, they've got loads of that. If you're going to count by population, they've got loads of that as well. Don't they have?
But is it likely that they will become independent? I don't think that it's likely.
Depending on how you look at it. Because last referendum, there was videos coming out of people, doing voter fraud. And they haven't tried the election again, which is, well, I don't think you're supposed to do that, are you? You're supposed to do it again, but make sure no voter fraud happens. I'm right with that, aren't I?
I think it could be quite likely that Scotland can get independent. I mean, the SNP are quite popular, but I think that's more because of the Tories and Labour. But still, it was really narrow in the referendum, so I don't see independence growing like it.
Well, their entire independence thing is based on the EU. They only want to secede from Britain to join the EU, and I think that we should oppose Scottish independence because of that. Because we should oppose the EU. We are anti-imperialists.
Yeah.
And if Scotland will join the EU, then it will just strengthen the EU.
Yeah.
So we should oppose Scottish independence, at least one that makes Scotland join the EU, in my opinion.
I see where you're coming from here, but I have to agree, but I also sort of disagree as well. I don't think we should oppose the independence of a fellow Celtic country just because the main political party that wants independence is one that supports the EU as well.
I believe that Scottish independence itself is okay, but if Scotland joins the EU, then it will be bad. So
yeah.
if they would not join the EU, then I'd support it. But that's not the case right now.
Yeah, I've got my same opinions with Plaid Cymru as well. Plaid Cymru is basically just the Welsh version of the SNP. They want the country's independence, but they want to join the EU, which, in every sense of the word, I am against. I hate the EU with a burning passion. But
and I believe that the EU will soon collapse.
Oh yeah,
give them a few more years, maybe 10 more years, and they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Neo-nationals, so right-wing populists in Europe are watching Brexit right now. They are looking up to it, and if Brexit succeeds, then they'll leave the EU as well.
Yeah.
And that will pretty much kill the EU anyway.
Yeah. The EU's been dying for a long time. I think, even though we haven't officially left, we've just left with a deal. Personally, I think no deal. Screw the EU. We're taking all our stuff back.
Well, Boris Johnson made a deal not long ago. What do you think of the deal?
I haven't read much on the deal anyway, but so I can't really have a well-informed opinion of it. But my opinion on it anyway, of deal, is it's no deal or we don't leave at all.
Yeah, I more or less agree, but I should read the new deal that Boris Johnson made, because it might be good. I heard that it's good, but I'm not sure. Others have been saying that it's a betrayal to Brexit.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard people say that they don't like the deal. I've heard others say that Bojo the Clown has sold us out.
Remember the video where he was like holding two flags of the UK and was like, I don't know what it's called in English, but it was really funny, and people were calling him a clown for that.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean now. He's coming in on the zip line, wasn't he?
Yeah, zipline, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the nickname for him now, Bojo the Clown's come from. Anyhow, if there was another party that was opposed to EU independence, well, not EU independence, sorry, joining the EU, but also wanted Celtic independence, whether it be like a different version of Plaid Cymru or the SNP, I'd support it, even though if they're even liberal, even though I don't really want to, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Also, so I think that if Scotland does become independent, then I think that it will eventually rejoin the UK, because the EU will collapse anyways soon.
Yeah, if Scotland joins the EU, they'd probably get absolutely destroyed when it eventually, because it will collapse. It's the same thing goes for Wales really as well, and any other country for that matter, honestly. So, pardon?
Yeah, but it would be better to go without the EU.
Yeah, personally, I think if we become self-sufficient, sorry, we should not join the EU, because, well, for a bunch of reasons. If you check out the not just for the normal Marxist reasons I have about imperialism, stuff like that, but also more social issues as well. So I implore the people who are watching this video to check out those videos from start to finish. Anyhow, does anyone want to add anything on? Nope. And we oh, do you want to say something?
No, everything's fine.
Alright then. So now we're going to be moving on to future economic policies for a independent Wales. So personally, I think that if Wales was to become independent, we'd really need to focus on industry, medical care, and military to start off with before we do anything else. But it really depends on how Wales achieves its independence. If we achieved it, well, and what our relations would be with England afterwards. If we start off through let's say, hypothetically, a revolution, right? Wales would probably be, have something that happened to like Vietnam or North Korea, like be bombed. Or they'd do something like they did in Northern Ireland, which was if anyone got a slight accusation of being a member of the separatist organisation, they would basically be arrested or raided by the military. But if we had a good relation with England and we left through a democratic means, and we had a peaceful revolution, we should prioritise healthcare industry and what's the word for it again? Logistics. That's it. So like roads and railways and stuff.
Yeah.
So if Wales was to get its independence, and I'm saying that again, personally, I think we should restart places like like slate mines, collieries, old power plants. Like what was it again? Traws-Fynydd. The Traws-Fynydd nuclear reactor was very efficient for Wales, and since Wales doesn't have an abundance of it, but it has quite a bit of it, uranium, and uranium lasts a hell of a long time. We could go with nuclear power rather than coal power, but we'll have to keep competitive as well in the global market because China China sells its coal for a really, really low price, and in fact most of the UK's coal imports come from Russia. In fact, the last coal power plant in Wales runs off, has a massive supply of Russian coal.
Wait, the UK trades a lot with Russia?
Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but they do trade with them.
But is it like important for the UK's economy?
I don't know really, but since we've closed down all the coal mines in Wales, and there isn't many left anyway, the only coal power station power plant, in Wales is the one in Swansea. I think it's Swansea, isn't it? Yeah, well, they only have a short supply left of coal that was actually mined out of Wales. And because I was watching this documentary called Hidden Wales, sorry. And they went to the power plant, and they had two massive piles. The smaller one was for Welsh coal, and there was not a lot of it left. And the other one was the Russian coal, and there was tons of it. Anyone else want to join in? Okay, and continue we shall. Also, especially with like factories and stuff, I think we should part Wales into two areas when it comes to what industries they produce through like a main point of view.
I have a question. Isn't like 20% of Wales rural?
I'm not sure about the percentage of it actually. I just know that Wales is majoritively a rural area. Like the only big places are like South Wales.
I think that there should be a large emphasis on agriculture in Wales.
Yeah.
But like we are Marxist-Leninists, so
yeah.
despite Wales putting a large emphasis on agriculture, I still believe that the main emphasis should be on heavy industry. And I believe that if Wales does become leftist, so a Marxist state, then I believe that farming should be done via private farming plots, because that's how it's been done in Wales for a very long time, and that's I think how it should be applied to Wales' material conditions.
Yeah, I agree with you, but new farms, we should have private farms. Everyone knows that we should have private farms. As much as I am iffy with the idea of them, I do believe they are still a good farming system. Either way.
Yeah, well, every sensuous country had private farming plots, like the USSR, Laos, China even, and many others. And they made up like 40% of agriculture.
Yeah.
But I think that in countries like Wales and Scotland, I think that it should be like making up like 90% or 100% of farming. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I do agree with you, but I also would prefer Wales to have a lot of collective farms as well, because I think collective farms would be easier to manage as well.
Are there any areas where you would support collective farms in Wales?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Well, if there are any places where farming is usually done in groups, like for example in families or communally,
Yeah.
then collective farms will be more efficient there, I believe.
Hmm.
Is farming done like that in any places in the Wales?
I'm not sure, but I think there is. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I think that collective farms will be efficient for them.
Yeah. Um. Also, yeah, but I do agree with what you said about industry as well. I think, but Wales should be sectioned off when it comes to production, since we're mostly rural as well. We should have more of an emphasis on um, agriculture than we should industry, but we should also attempt to modernize our industry. We should, especially with places like Wrexham, not Anglesey, sorry, Wrexham, Llangollen, and all the other places where there was tons of industry at one
Can
point.
I say something?
Oh yeah, sure.
I actually disagree with you on one thing. I didn't say that agriculture should be emphasized more than heavy industry. I said that heavy industry should be emphasized more than agriculture. I think that the main emphasis should be put on heavy industry, as this is what Marxism-Leninism is largely about. And despite that, I think that we should still put a large emphasis on agriculture as well. So if you will put the main emphasis on agriculture instead of on heavy industry, then you're pretty much not a Marxist-Leninist.
Yeah. Sorry, I must have misheard your point. Um, yeah, I do agree, but Wales has always been mostly agriculture. I'm not saying we
Yeah.
shouldn't put not a lot of emphasis on industry. We should put a lot of it on it, but I'm saying we should keep agriculture up to date as well.
Okay, that's good. I think that that's fine.
Yeah, I should have elaborated my point more. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
I think
any. Oh, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think agriculture, right? I think agriculture could be one of our biggest like export industries.
Yeah.
Like if we export to countries like, say, England, for example, you know how like in places all the labels on meat, it's all like British meat and all that,
Yeah.
and it makes people more willing to buy it.
Mhm.
Then I think we could like have export, like England would want to import that from us, as well as other
Yeah.
EU as well.
Countries.
Well,
We could also give farming. We could also give like things like countries like North Korea, which we all know don't do very good with farming because of what happened in the Korean War, and also based on how the country it is, it's more of
Can I add something on that?
oh yeah,
They actually improved their farming a lot under Kim Jong-un.
yeah,
Kim Jong-un had pretty good agricultural policies. So now, yeah, they don't really need the food of other countries
yeah,
unless they have droughts or something like that.
yeah. I think the thing is though, North Korea can't have a lot of farms because of how the terrain is. It's mostly mountainous, isn't it?
yeah,
Because of where they're located and everything. South Korea is more of the agricultural area. Like you can separate countries
yeah,
out into two areas as well. One of the parts being most that can be focused on heavy industry, but it's also very difficult to traverse, or maybe not so difficult, depending on how it is and how it's been constructed. But you've also got like the more flat rural areas, like farmlands and stuff like that. So that's
Sorry, my internet died for a second.
Oh, alright. Basically, you can divide countries up into two areas of what industries they carry, like agriculture or industrial.
I can actually give a few examples. For example, in the US, Russia, Spain, and other countries,
Yeah, you can even
the south is usually mostly agricultural, whereas the north is usually focused on heavy industry and light industry.
yeah, you can really draw the example if to Wales as well. In fact, Wales, for most of its life, the northern parts, because of its mountains, all the coal and all the materials there, like minerals and stuff, that's mostly be focused on heavy industry and light industry. But in the south, it's been more rural and rugged, like, you know, growing crops and stuff like that. And since Wales has, closed down all the coal mines and stuff, they've, industries rather gone down. They've lost tons of jobs, all sorts.
Yeah.
So
in those industries, those sectors will create more jobs.
Yeah. So
Also, you're correct. I can send a map if you want.
Yeah. If you want to, like. Cheers.
Here. Though in the north, there's also a lot of agricultural stuff going on.
Oh yeah, I happen to live there. Like not far from my house actually, there is like a massive farmland. It's always, there's always been massive farms in Wales, but there's also been a lot of industry as well, especially in the north. Am I reiterating my points? So to come back to the industry and agriculture bits, when we started talking off at the start, I think that Wales should have two areas, mainly focusing on two different things. We do have a lot of agriculture in the north, but there's more agriculture in the south than there is in the north. So the north should more have a focus on heavy industry or light industry and things like that, whilst the more rural south should have lighter industry and lots of farms.
Yeah. The land down south is flat.
Yeah.
So it only makes.
Yeah. What else can we talk about Welsh industry and things like that? Yes. Healthcare. Does anyone have anything to say about healthcare?
Well,
Without saying that.
I think that healthcare in Wales is pretty developed.
Yeah, it is actually quite developed. In fact,
Yeah, I think that all of it should be free and universal.
yeah, it is mostly universal here anyway, but because it's part of the NHS,
Right
isn't
now
it?
there is a lot of privatization going on. I heard under Boris Johnson.
Yeah, there has been privatization.
I mean,
but the biggest healthcare thing is the National Health Service.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'd like to see Wales have its, build its own NHS rather than directly getting their funding from England.
Yeah, actually, you know what happened in Canada? They sold out their healthcare to the US, and now they are going bankrupt. Their healthcare is severely deteriorating, only because they sold their healthcare to the US. And the same goes for the roads. They sold their roads to the US, and now their roads are basically deteriorating.
Yeah. And the same thing's happening in where I live, actually. And more or less, it goes to the entirety of North Wales itself. The roads here are very underkept. They're sometimes they're just left until they grow like potholes the size of a fucking meteor strike.
Basically.
Yeah. Like roundabout. There's where I live. There's a main road, and obviously, and the roundabout that leads up to the main road. For as long as I can remember, had like massive potholes in it. So when you'd be driving across it, you'll just smack down and then back up. Honestly, it's a miracle that no accidents happened there. What else?
Well, a lot of the roads in the more rural areas, they're a bit shite because they're small. They only fit one car. If the cars are coming near each other, one of them has to pull over. So I
Yeah.
think we can modernise them a bit more.
Yeah.
So less bad.
Yeah. I think the problem is though is where the money is going. North Wales.
Right now, it's going to London.
Yeah, but the
That's
thing
the
with
main problem.
you know how we get like some odd billion a year from Westminster, right? Well, the majority of that money goes down to the south. And I'm just going to give an example, right? When I was going on holiday down south, um, there's they built a new road not long ago where we were going down, and when we came out of Wrexham, there was just like more paved. There was a lot of paved road. There was tons of it. Like we were having a joke about it in our cars. Like, oh my god, the roads are paved. Look how smooth they are.
Oh my god, it's like a different country.
Yeah, no, it was genuinely like entering a different country.
So I think if we were self-sufficient, we could distribute that money, the money that we will from all around the country, not just Cardiff.
Yeah, I think we should distribute. Even if we are still remaining as a part of the UK in like say like the next 20 years, we should distribute the money more fairly amongst the country. Like Wales should get a
We
lot
really won't
of
get
spending.
much from Westminster, though.
How do you want to distribute the money?
What do you mean by that?
So, do you want to like give it to the poor, or do you want to spend it on like social welfare programs like free healthcare and free education, or what?
Well, I believe spending it on social programs such as poor.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
think
I think that we should use that. I think that Wales should use money to spend on social welfare programs.
yeah,
And yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the poor should also get some, but I don't think that we should like make everyone get the equal same amount of money, because
yeah,
this would contradict Marxism, because Marx and Engels were actually opposing um, income equality in the critique of the Gotha program.
yeah,
I think spending our money, well, social welfare programs such as healthcare, free public schools, name them, it'll help the poor to better standard of living
yeah.
and for life in the country overall.
Yeah. What else can we talk about with economic policies? We could talk about how we could expend military ones, if anyone wants to talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah. So
That would be the most.
so
That depends on the circumstances.
yeah, it depends on the circumstances. If the circumstance does call for it, let's say Wales. Let's say when Wales gets independence, we get through a revolution, and when we let's say we're not on good terms with England, we're not on speaking terms. I think that Wales should prioritise its military expenditure. I think Wales should build military bases more in the rural areas, and we should restart old military installations in both north and south. Does anyone want to add anything on?
Well,
Maybe Wales could join in a military pact with Ireland.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, anti-Anglo Union.
Actually, I
Let's
was
go
reading. There's a book I was reading called "To Dream of Freedom," and it talks about the history. This is a bit off topic thing. Who knows? I might cut this out of the video, or I might keep it in. But there was one of the people that they talk about was part of. Hold on, I think I can find it. I think it was called the Anti-Sice Action. Sice in English basically means English. Anti-English action. No, sorry, no. It was called the Anti-Sice Front. That's it. So, you know, the anti-Anglo action was the meme of the anti-Anglo action is real. Anyhow, I think
I'll make a meme out of this.
yeah.
keep in mind we don't hate English people.
Yeah, keep in
Sounds
mind
like
we don't hate
English
English
accents.
people. What else can we talk about? Especially, I think Wales should focus more on light infantry and more of tactical installations than they should like a full. Especially when it comes to military doctrine itself, I think Wales should have more of a nice meme. I have seen I've seen that I've seen it. It's still good though. You know, I think that when Wales, the Welsh military should have more of a Viet Cong style of fighting. Even though that isn't more effective for a country, but it's more effective for like a guerrilla organization. I think we should have more. What's the saying again? There's a saying about it, but to simplify it, basically wear them out, like make them fear going in. Like, you know how the Vietnamese did it in the Vietnam War? They made this like, how can I put it? It's like fear around like every corner. They can either be a booby trap or a sniper, or you might walk into like an entire Viet Cong encampment. You don't know, like that type of fear to sort of deter any invasion.
Let's just call it paranoia warfare.
Yeah, paranoia warfare. That's it. Does anyone else want to add anything?
I think that could be a pretty effective.
Yeah. Oh Christ, we've been talking for nearly just over half an hour now. God. So do you want to end it there?
Sure.
Okay. So thanks for watching, everyone, and listening
Also,
to.
check out my channel.
Yeah, check out Comrade King's channel. I'm cutting that out, by the way. I'm joking, of course. So make sure to check out our Discord, Parler, or our website if you want to get involved in this. Like I said, come to our Discord, and I hope to see you all in the next video. And by the way, Happy New Year! See you, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. And also, Anglers are not welcome on our server. We execute them.